Hello, my name is Cameron Bloodgood. I'm from the University of Southern California, and I'm here to talk a little bit about Urban Oasis, which is this project that I've been working on for the past couple months. But first, I would like to clarify before we start the audience is everybody. Obviously, different people can do different things based on their profession or background, but no one can escape me in this project because it is real. As in, I am working on it as we speak. It is feasible, it is happening. I am talking with professionals, and I have money to fund it. So I'm really looking for the outward support of as many people as possible who can contribute anything and everything that they know. Um, but yeah, this was just a clarification because if you think that you can escape me, you really can't. But a little bit more about me. As I mentioned before, my name is Cameron. I am a student at USC. Specifically, I'm a freshman in the Bachelor of Architecture program. I'm involved with a couple different things on campus, but most notably, I am a design and make ambassador for Autodesk, where I host events and workshops and talk to students all over the school about the company and its new products. I also work with the Arts and Climates Collective at USC, which have graciously donated about $1,350 to help me fund and actually kickstart this project. And then I also work for A plus A, Architecture and Advocacy, as a workshop intern where I help kids in underprivileged communities with design build projects. So right now, we're building modular furniture for their outdoor spaces. And the awesome thing about this is that the kids actually help us design and build the project. So it's great for them and it's great for us. I would like to talk a little bit more about them though. Specifically, we work with Inner City Arts in Skid Row, Los Angeles. And the reason I bring this up is because these kids are really the inspiration for my project. Talking with them, talking about the issues that they face in their community have really motivated me into creating something feasible and tangible and multifaceted that can benefit the community. I took a human factors engineering course in high school, and I fell in love with the idea of human concentric design and how we react to the built environment. And ever since then, I've been focused on equity and climate injustice and doing things to better the community and the world around us. So specifically when it came to this project, I knew that I wanted to explore my strengths to benefit a greater community. Specifically, I have prior knowledge in architecture, obviously, as a student, but also I used to work in a firm where I worked on floor plans and elevations with professionals. I went to design expositions, so I wanted to use that prior knowledge from school and work to ensure a passion and authenticity for a successful, complex solution, which means I wanted that solution to be multifaceted. I wanted to prioritize equity for underrepresented communities disproportionately affected by climate change and society. And then I also wanted the people in such community to have ownership. I wanted to ensure that local residents played a vital role in the design, the implementation, the maintenance of the actual curated project, which is why I bring this to Skid Row. Again, a very underrepresented community, which is right near USC itself. So then a couple more images just to kind of get an idea of what it's like. Obviously, Skid Row is in an urban area, which means they suffer from UHI, increased foot traffic, and concrete and other man-made materials cause high temperatures, which are unhealthy for both people physically, emotionally, and for the mental well-being. And then also, food insecurity is a really big issue. Some people might not have access to food all the time, nor specifically the right kinds of foods. So when it came time to this project to actually fight the environment, I wanted to fight the environment while also helping as many people as possible in many different ways. Which brings us to Urban Oasis. So on the left, you're probably wondering, what is this building? This building is the Weingart Center in Skid Row, Los Angeles. It is a homeless rehabilitation center. So essentially, they're taking people from the streets and they're helping them become functional members of society. And so I wanted to be able to utilize specifically what the Weingart Center is doing and then implement it into my project where we can actually provide educational systems and teach people about agriculture, teach them how to get jobs via growing food and agriculture, teach them how to cook, how to utilize the space that is being provided for them. So we have some late renderings here of what it would actually look like. This isn't very specific to it. You will kind of see in the next slide some earlier renderings and photos, but essentially these are 4x4 foot recyclable produce green roof panels. So think like a normal green roof, but you're also growing food on it. And so by doing this, you're obviously fighting all the issues that a green roof normally would, so UHI, and then increased cost of energy. But you're also fighting food insecurity by growing the right kinds of foods, by growing cleaner foods. You're benefiting the community in a host of different aspects. But what makes Urban Oasis different from its competitors is specifically how it's recyclable. So this is a very customizable, very one-of-one thing that I'm creating. The reason I say this is because I'm taking I'm dissecting, as you can see from these top images here, I am dissecting the different layers of a green roof, and then I am taking out specific parts and replacing them with something more customizable and recyclable. So what that means is that, like, let's say this root barrier and specifically the drainage mat, they're all customizable and 3D printed. I've started the early process of 3D printing these materials, and by doing that, I'm taking, let's say, milk jugs and water bottle caps, HDPE plastic, and I'm smelting it, and then I'm able to use that as a filament to 3D print. So by the time this project is tangible, like it is tangible, but by the time this project is physical, is what I meant to say. In April, there will be a physical model. As I mentioned before, the ACC is graciously funding this project, so I am able to actually purchase materials and create this said model up here by April, which is super exciting. And as I mentioned before, I am 3D printing these parts. Like physically, this is a very real thing. And just again, a late rendering of what kind of the Weingart Center rooftop looks like, and then in its context of Skid Row, and then taking these panels, placing them on top, and making them something very, very useful for the community, and specifically the people who live in this building. So when it comes to the actual timeline itself, so we've already hit the planning stage. So we're identifying the target community, which is Skid Row, and specifically the Weingart Center. We're using quantifiable data and engaging with the local residents. I have called Skid Row, and again, I'm working with these kids from A+A in Skid Row, and we are talking about these issues and working through it. And so now we're at the pilot project stage where we're launching a small-scale system on the test site, which is the Weingart Center, and engaging with professionals. I have called the Weingart Center, and I'm waiting to hear back from them, but I am going to go in and I am going to talk with the people who work there and look at the roof itself. And as you will see in the future slides, I am working with professionals in the field and actually making sure this project stands. And then finally, we get to expansion. So we're going to take these scale models and we're going to bring them to other buildings around the area and foster empowerment with education and teach them about what it means to have a healthy community and what it means to have a healthy building. And so the actual funding and support, so there is, again, as I mentioned, there is actual funding coming from USC, specifically the Arts and Climates Collective. There are a host of other USC organizations that are able to provide funding for climate resistant projects. But in terms of the things that I'm actually doing, and that is real, I am working with an architect from Grimshaw and a structural engineer from Bureau Happold, and we are in the works right now of making sure that the load actually is able to hold on the building. After we make sure that we do that properly, we're going to talk about specifically zoning laws. And so, but this project is very real. Like, these people that I am working with are real. These companies that I am talking to are real. This is all happening. And then I also threw an Autodesk because as a Make and Design ambassador, I'm able to discuss this project with the Autodesk community and use their tools to my advantage. And hopefully in the future, even receive funding for them for this project and bring it to all sorts of areas around the country. So again, as I mentioned, in terms of the actual obstacles themselves, obviously it's really going to come down to zoning and structure. But as I mentioned before, the solutions to this are very simple. I am currently working with the structural engineer from Bureau Happold to make this happen. So that is not really much of a concern to me. The zoning law is more of a delicate issue, but once we figure out the structure, we are going to start working with people. The architect from Grimshaw is going to put me in touch with some people who will help me out with zoning laws. And those are really the only main issues. This project is very feasible other than that, and to ensure that we have some kind of community impact. So overall, we're looking at a project that is very multifaceted. It's providing a host of solutions to different issues. Obviously, it's climate reductive in the case that it's a green roof and that it's fighting UHI and it's fighting high energy costs. But also, we're looking at food insecurity, and we're looking at eating cleaner, and we're looking at an overall community and bringing people together via education and via jobs. And we're doing good for a homeless rehabilitation center. So we're taking people off the streets and we're bringing them into a community where they're able to do good. But thank you.